Hey y'all, Nick Pomeroy here with PR Equipment in Kearns, Texas. Hey, today we're out here in the shop, we're talking Solis 60. So this is kind of a follow-up or a sister video to what we shot with our Solis 50. However, this is the Solis 60, so just a slightly larger tractor. As before, this is the Yanmar Solis lineup, designed primarily to be a very affordable option if you've got a lot to get done. So it's a heavy tractor, mechanical transmission, no emissions currently, which I'm sure will change down the road. But for the time being, there's no emissions on this tractor. So there's a lot of things to like about this. We want to basically just kind of gloss over and hit on the key points of why you might be interested in something like this, and kind of let you make up your mind. And if you got more questions or whatnot, you can reach out to us. In the future, we'll probably try to shoot like a demo video, which is what we did with our Solis 50, where we took it out and cut in the hayfield. We'll probably do some sort of similar demo video, but we might try to hook it up to say like a flex wing cutter or something and show you what it's capable of there. But we're gonna do a short video here, like I say, just to talk about the highlights here. So the Solis 60 here has 60 net horsepower. That's what you're getting at the engine, and roughly 49 at the PTO. So fairly efficient, pretty much standard for what you're gonna find in a mechanical transmission. It's gonna be coupled with the T229 loader. Loader lift capacity of about 2,866 pounds, I think is what Yanmar spec sheet shows. So it's a very, very capable loader. One thing to note, this is the four-wheel drive version, which is the only version we intend to order it in. I mean, obviously, if you wanted a two-wheel drive, we could get it. But the four-wheel drive is obviously what we like to see. Let's talk weight for a second. This is a very heavy tractor. The tractor itself comes in about 6,500 pounds, and the loader adds on a little over 2,000 pounds. So we're talking 8,500 pounds the way it sets. It's a very, very heavy tractor. A lot of cast iron on this one. It's not a lot of weight. It's really built-in weight as far as cast iron and heavy steel. It truly is a very heavy tractor. So the Solis 60 is actually a turbocharged engine, where the 50 is naturally aspirated. So it is a turbocharged engine. We are utilizing a separate power steering pump as well. What that would mean to you is if you know, steering and brakes are always going to have priority. So let's say you're driving along and you're using the steering at the same time you're trying to lift an implement. Your steering is going to take that flow first until your steering is done, and then give that flow to your remotes. Where in this tractor, having a separate power steering system means that power steering is going to do its own thing, and your remotes are going to do its own thing. So you're not going to notice any impact with one function or the other. All right, let's talk a little bit about transmission options. There is really only one transmission option. It is a 12x12 synchronized transmission. That synchronized is pretty important. That means shifting on the fly with your clutch is a-okay. It's going to shift nice and smooth, so we can jam through 4 gears. There are 3 ranges, so you've got 4 gears available in low. You've got obviously 4 gears in medium and high as well. So you've got 12 gears. And then of course it's got a mechanical shuttle over here, so your forward and reverse is synchronized as well. You can shift on the fly as long as you're using the clutch. Makes that a really, really handy tractor to drive. The nice thing about the Solis 60 is it does have a joystick, which is mounted on the fender, as opposed to a loader mounted joystick, so it's kind of nice. It is adjustable, so you can tweak the angle at which, if you got a specific angle you like, so maybe you want to get it closer to your armrest. It does come standard with 2 hydraulic valves, so you've got a couple levers here beside your seat. This seat, since I'm just mentioning it, is adjustable, so you got pretty good suspension out of it. It makes it pretty comfortable to drive. As far as the 3-point's concerned, it has a very impressive lift capacity. It lifts like 4,500 pounds at the rear ends on a Cat 2 linkage. So you can pretty much do whatever you're going to need to do with the 3-point. One unique thing that's kind of unique to this tractor, or this size of tractor, is it does incorporate draft control. A lot of times you don't see that until you get into a little bit heavier of a tractor. So you've got your position control, your draft control. There's some settings for the sensitivity of the draft control, which are under my leg. And then it's got auto lift, which is a pretty neat feature. So let's say you put your position in place and you hit the button, it'll actually drop down, and then you flip it up and it'll lift itself up automatically and then go right back to that same position. So you can leave this alone and basically just raise and lower it. It's pretty neat, like say if you're doing some plowing or maybe some shredding or whatnot, to be able to just kind of hit that button and go right back to where you were. As with the 50, the 60 also utilizes this kind of unique battery box. It is a cast iron. It's a very heavy cast piece to hold the battery, and it is outside of the hood. A lot of times you got to get into the hood to really get to the battery or whatnot. they have this separate, and it's obviously built to have weight as well, to have some sort of, to add some weight to the tractor, but it's pretty impressive. But the battery box just slides out. So you can slide your battery out, and it's, like I say, it's just a pretty cool way to keep your battery. So loader lift height, by the way, for safety people, we do have the loader locked out, which don't ever get under a loader unless you have some sort of lock on the ram. Loader lift height is pretty impressive at 10 feet. So two features that are kind of important on the front of the loader. One is it does use skid steer quick attach, which is obviously the most common form of quick attach, which is really handy because it makes a lot of attachments universal. But one thing that is probably pretty unique to this size tractor, it's not unique when you start looking at larger tractors, but it is in this size of tractor, and that's what you see here, which is an accumulator. And so what this accumulator does is it basically absorbs some of the shock of the loader. So if you're moving bales across the field, you'll leave this valve open, and it's going to allow it to basically kind of accumulate. You're not going to notice a ton of movement in the loader so much, maybe just a hair, but what you'll notice is it takes a little bit of the brunt of those impacts off of there, as opposed to, if you've got something heavy or it's acting with all that leverage. So it's pretty cool. Some other companies call it like soft ride and things like that. I've not seen it on this size tractor personally, and you can shut it off. So if you're doing any precision work or whatnot, or if it's kind of, you don't like it, you can just turn it off. But the cool thing is, like I say, as you're going across the field, it's going to make for a little softer ride just because it's taking that impact out of that loader. So we hope you've enjoyed this video on the Solis 60 tractor. So this tractor is going to fill a very specific void as far as it's a very affordable option that gives you a ton of capability, ton of weight, pretty darn good features. Not the technological leader, no emissions and things like that. So that really is going to appeal to a lot of customers as far as just being a very simple tractor with a lot of capability. But like I say, affordable is the name of the game with this one. So guys, we hope that you've enjoyed this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on Facebook at PR Equipment. Check us out on the web at prequipmentsales.com, or just come by and take a test drive or check it out for yourself. I think you'll really be impressed. Thanks, guys.